Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Simon Bonenfant. Many of our listeners may be familiar with the Vispero brand of products, especially Freedom Scientific and the JAWS screen reader. What you may be not as familiar with is the newly released AI features in JAWS 2024. While in attendance at the 2024 NFB National Convention in Orlando, Florida, I sat down with Jeff Bazer, Regional Director of Sales at Vispero, to tell you all about it. Jeff discusses the Split Braille feature, Picture Smart AI feature, and gives us a sneak peek of a brand new feature just announced at the NFB convention. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Jeff Bazer from Vispero. Live from the 2024 National Convention of the National Federation of the Blind in Orlando, Florida. I'm Simon Bonenfant, and I'm here speaking to Jeff Bazer, who is the Regional Sales Director at Vispero. Jeff, it's wonderful to be speaking with you today.
Good to be here. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you. So for those who are unfamiliar with Vispero, can you give an overview of who you are and what you do?
Certainly, thanks. So Vispero is an umbrella company with several other very familiar companies under it. Freedom Scientific, so of course that's JAWS for Windows, ZoomText, Fusion, software side. Of course we have many electronic video magnifiers under Freedom Scientific as well. Also under Vispero is Enhanced Vision, so that's a very popular video magnification company that's been in the industry for a very long time as well. And Optelec, so you may have heard of products like the Compact or the Clear Views from Optelec. Under the Enhanced Vision line, there's products like Merlins and Acrobats and Pebbles and things like that. For Freedom Scientific, we mentioned the software. I didn't mention the video magnifiers, but if you've heard of the Ruby line, those are the portables. We have those in a 5-inch, a 7-inch, up to a 10-inch. They've been very, very popular. Topaz, Onyx, those are both Freedom Scientific video magnifiers as well. The Onyx has distance associated with it, a distance camera, and then the Topaz is just the traditional desktop CCTV. So we've got several sizes of those, and we even have OCR available with the Topaz, and that's a touch screen as well. Those are very popular in lots of areas of where I cover. I cover the central part of the country, so Texas all the way to Minnesota. And we've got lots of folks who use the Topaz OCR in Texas, but all over the country as well. The Merlin is a product that many of the veterans within the VA utilize. We have a national contract there for the Merlin 22, the Merlin Mini, and the Acrobat line of products from Enhanced Vision 2. The Acrobat 27 is with the VA. So lots and lots of products under Vispero.
Very nice. Well, I personally am a JAWS user, so use that on a day-to-day basis. I'm very thankful for all the work that you're doing, and I know many of our listeners will be familiar with your hardware and your software. And even though we are in the summer of 2024, it's been a very busy year so far at Vispero. Why don't you give us a little bit of an update on some things that some listeners may know and some new developments as well?
Sure, can definitely do that. You know, one of the products I forgot to mention, Simon, and I apologize, under Freedom Scientific, of course, we have refreshable Braille displays, too. Many of you have heard of the Focus line of refreshable Braille, and we have that in the 14, the 40, and the 80 cell models, and I wanted to make sure and mention that because one of the new features that we've just put into JAWS is called Split Braille, and it's the ability to actually have two things happening simultaneously on your Braille display, and then splitting the display in the middle. So you could have two different applications up there, you could have two different things going on from the same application, but it's a way to have more information displayed on your display rapidly than having to, alt-tab to it or go find it someplace else in the application. So a couple of examples of that would be in Outlook would be one of them. So if you were maybe in your message list reading down your list of emails on one side of your Braille display, but then you could have it split so that the preview pane was also on your Braille display showing you the contents of the message. And you can scroll then independently of either side. So as you move down your list of messages and you find one you want to read, then you can go over to the right side, read it, and be able to scroll down and read as much of the message as you need. In PowerPoint, for example, you could have your speaker's notes on one part of your display and then the slide content on the other side. So there's a ton of situations on contracted versus uncontracted Braille as well. So if you're teaching Braille, you have a young student that you're working with, they would be able to see the difference between contracted and uncontracted Braille on the same line to tell the difference as they're learning. It's a great new feature. There's a lot of different ways to use it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's even comparable to how sighted folks would see multiple tabs, multiple windows on a screen. That is now being able to be done in Braille, it seems like.
That's right, exactly. Almost like a multiple monitor situation. Yeah. And depending on the size of your Braille display too, of course, you have more cells to be able to work with. And this has been something that's been very, very popular that even some of the other manufacturers like Humanware have worked along with us to ensure that their Braille displays work with it. They were very interested in this feature working with JAWS and their machines as well.
Ah, wonderful. I know that with JAWS you have been doing a lot of AI work, as have many companies. It seems like that's been a buzzword since ChatGPT came along and rocked the world in 2023. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, certainly. So here at the convention specifically, we've gotten some great feedback on some things that we've added in. With Picture Smart, that's been something that's been in JAWS for, I think about 5 years already. I can't believe how fast the time goes. But we've had some definite enhancements to Picture Smart here over the course of the last year, and even leading right up to the NFB here as well in the summer shows. So we now have the ability for images to be described or videos online, things like that. When you're working through Windows, there's lots and lots of places where it would be very, very helpful to have pictures or images described that you're looking at. And of course, this will work with a Pearl camera too, or any other scanner that you have. If you want to scan a picture and get a very vivid description back of that, you can. Where I think of it most is on a site like Amazon or Facebook or things like that. So you may have a picture of the product up there and you want some specifics on that. You can do that. If you're watching a YouTube video, you can pause it at any point if you're not completely sure what's happening or they're not giving you a very good description, and you can get one yourself. So much like what folks have been doing on their phones with products like Be My Eyes, we've seen the success there and how people have really loved that. The same capabilities available now in JAWS and Fusion too.
Great. Well, I know you have a computer here and you have JAWS running, and you want to give us a little demo of the Picture Smart feature and the enhancements that you made?
Give it a little shot, run it down, see how it's working? Sure, we can do that. So let's see here. So I've got Zoe, who's on here now. I thought that would be kind of a pleasant voice to use. She's one of our RealSpeak vocalizer voices. Let me Alt-Tab right over here to
Copilot Google Chrome.
What we've got online here, and let's see if I can...
Amazon.com.
So here's Amazon. We're on a product page here right now, and I've got some things up here.
Up where you left.
Let's see what we can get up to.
Again, heading level 3. Link graphic, Microsoft Surface Pro 813, touchscreen, Intel registered Evo platform, core trademark i7, 16 gigabytes, memory 250.
That might be a little too fast. Do you think we need to slow that down, or is that going to be okay?
Maybe slow it down a little bit.
Slow it down a little bit, okay.
Slower.
So here's a picture of a Surface Pro computer. I thought this might be good because there's plenty going on in this photo, and let's see if we can make this happen.
Picture Smart. Picture Smart is in progress. Heading level to ChatGPT.
So there's ChatGPT, so that is the top result. I mentioned there's two of them that you use if you press Shift-C, but let's see what we've got now for a description.
The image shows a tablet or a 2-in-1 laptop in a vertical orientation. The device is standing on a built-in kickstand, which is supporting it upright. The screen displays a user interface that resembles a Windows operating system. The visible user interface shows a menu with icons and options, similar to the Start menu in Windows 11. The background is a light blue abstract pattern. The device appears slim and sleek, with narrow bezels around the display. Heading level 2 Claude, the image shows
That sounds like a pretty good description of what a Surface Pro would look like, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's exactly what happens. It's great. I mean, and what's so fun about doing this kind of stuff is that wherever you are on a site like Amazon, of course, any product that you're looking for, there's going to be a picture of it. So it's amazing when you run this and just kind of hear what you get.
Yes, and can you also use this with your own pictures as well on your computer?
Certainly. So if you have pictures on your machine already, you certainly can. You can just use the description or the keystroke for the screen if you have the picture up on screen. And if you have a PDF file, for example, too, because that's a graphic like that, you can do it the same way that I just did, where you would go into the Picture Smart and hit a C for control, and then it would scan that PDF. And if there's text in there as well, this works really good for OCR. So if you had a menu, for example, and you'd just taken a picture of it and you wanted that read, this AI can certainly do that, and it's very accurate. It works great. And that's what's really nice about this is, what's totally different from the convenient OCR, or the OCR that we've had an open book in the past. That's still there, and you can still use it, of course. But, of course, this takes it to the next level with the Picture Smart and AI that we've got now, because it really tries to figure out what it is you're scanning, and then accordingly gives you the information in the way that it thinks you would want it based on what it is. So if it's a bill, for example, it'll describe to you that that's what it is first, and then it might start to tell you the total and the information that you'd see in a column, that kind of thing. So the way it presents the information is very nice as well.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that for those who have JAWS 2024, some of this information is in the early adopter section and some of this is built in. Can you give that distinction?
Right. So what we just did with Picture Smart, that's built in. So that is available for everybody. You can do that right now. And I think it's out of the early adopter stage as well now. So that's another new feature that we've added for people who want to get kind of a sneak peek on new features that are coming. You can go into the utilities and look for the early adopter menu. Go in there and check the box on any new features that you see there, and then you'll get a description of that new feature and you can try it out. And so occasionally from time to time, as new things develop, we'll be putting them in there so that maybe everybody does not want to necessarily do this until it's out of beta/early adopter program. They want to make sure that they wait until it's ready to go and been refined and for everybody. But there's plenty of us who get pretty excited about new features and want to be on them early to see what's coming and what we're working on. And that's what the early adopter program is for, so that folks who want to take a look at what's new can before anybody else. We also have, of course, the traditional beta program that a number of folks are involved in and familiar with. And if you're a high-end JAWS user or a trainer or something like that, and you want to be involved in our beta program, you can contact us and we can tell you more about that. Otherwise, you can just wait until things come out in the early adopter program.
There you go. Very good. And you mentioned many different commands that you have for the Picture Smart, and obviously some of them are new with the AI features. Where would somebody go if they want to know a list of these commands that they can try out for themselves?
That's a very good question, Simon. So there's a lot of ways to do that. Of course, we have help that's built in throughout the program, so you can always go to the help menu in JAWS, ZoomText, or Fusion. But what I think you might be referring to is another new feature that we actually showed here at the NFB Convention, and we're going to be doing the same at ACB. So Ryan Jones was actually here doing the presentation that I think you sat in on Thursday, and now he's headed up to ACB to do the same thing. So we've got a new feature now as far as help is concerned. This is something that people have really come to enjoy already, and we've gotten some great feedback here at the conference as well. So it's a tool where you can actually type in specifically what it is that you want to know as far as help goes. So for example, what are the top keystrokes in Outlook, or how do I use JAWS or Fusion in Outlook or Excel? Things like that. How do I label column headings and row titles in Excel? And you'll get a whole step-by-step answer back. So it's a faster way, of course, because you don't have to peruse the manuals and the help system to find what you want to know. You can just go to this tool and type in your question, and away you'll go from there. And we'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Also, what's going to happen is you'll see this automatically in the product fairly soon. So you'll be able to go to a menu within JAWS or Fusion or ZoomText and be able to find this and utilize it with its own interface that's in there. I think it's also going to be available on the web, because if you think about people maybe sitting alongside, so like if I was training you on a new feature, for example, you could pull this up on your phone if we have it available on the web, if you needed the step-by-step instructions to follow. So it's something that is really going to help trainers and students alike, and new users for sure.
That's a great point, because sometimes you would want to try something out contextually. You wouldn't want to have to go back to the JAWS window or go to another window. You may want to have it open on another device that doesn't have JAWS, and you're right, that would be a nice, handy way to do that. And I thought it was pretty neat that for this process, you took all the help files, you took all the user manuals that people are familiar with into account when you created this system. Can you talk about that process?
So we tried to make it as thorough as we could. And we wanted to make sure that it was very familiar to anybody who's already been using the help system, for example, been learning. And also, so I should mention too, that this is not just for JAWS Zoom Text Fusion, but it's for Microsoft Office as well. So when you're using this and you want to get questions specifically on Word or Microsoft Edge, Chrome, things like that, it's all here. So yeah, we tried to move through all of the training information that we had and used AI to be able to then come up with as specific and thorough of an answer as we could. Let's take a look at this here a little bit, Simon. So if I go here to this heading and go down, let's see if we can get this description here of what this is.
A conversational assistant for the JAWS screen reader, tuned to answer questions about general JAWS functionality, Windows navigation, web browsing, and Microsoft Office applications including Word, Excel, Outlook, and PowerPoint. How can I help you? Your message edit.
So here we go, your message. So this sounds pretty conversational, and I'll tell you what, Simon, what I believe is going to happen too is there's going to be a way for you to speak your answer. You know, we have the voice assistant that is in JAWS and Fusion now. I would not be surprised one bit if they integrate this in so that you can ask your question with your voice and have it answered by this tool as well. And I promise you, nobody has told me that's coming for sure, but it seems like a very obvious way to try to implement this and make it work. Yeah. It'll be a lot more powerful that way too. So here's our edit field where we are.
Blank.
Let me just make sure this is blank. And let's just type in, how about top 10 keystrokes in JAWS? Yeah. Something obvious like that, and just see what happens.
Space.
So I'm just typing it in here right now. I've got my key echo off. So I typed it. I'm going to press enter. And so now what happens here is we should have an answer.
Virtual
just get out of the edit field here.
Only top 10 keystrokes in JAWS. Here are 10 essential keystrokes for using JAWS effectively. List of 10 items. 1. Say all. Insert down arrow.
Let me just go through these. So we heard 1.
1. Say all. Insert down arrow. 2. Toggle speech on or off. 3. JAWS find. Insert Control F. 4. Quick settings. Insert V. 5. JAWS window. Insert J. 6. Refresh screen. Insert ESC. 7. Screen echo toggle. Insert S.
It meant insert escape for refreshing the screen there. Ready ESC, of course.
8. Typing echo toggle. Insert 2. 9. Pass key through. Insert 3. 10. Say window title. Insert T.
So that's the opinion of this new assistant that we have for the top 10 keystrokes with JAWS. Now, you may not necessarily agree with that. There might be some others that it forgot or things like that. And that's why we were here at NFB and ACB getting feedback from users who wanted to come in and see this, because before we have it actually in the product, we want to make sure, even though we've got a lot of information here to be able to look at, we want to make sure that you get what you expect when you're asking your questions.
Well, I like that example that you gave, because you could find something in this list that you had no idea about. You know, if you were just looking for some quick shortcuts, some quick keystrokes that may help you in your day-to-day use of the computer, you could type that in and find one thing or many things that you would have no idea had existed. So I like that it's able to compile that, and even though it's not as specific as a question, you can really find a great resource out of that as well. And I know you can drill down into a lot of specifics as well. And just like the other chat programs that we're all used to, you can ask it follow-up questions, I believe, as well, right?
You can, absolutely, yeah. So you get your answer, you want to ask a follow-up, you certainly can. And you can do that as well in the Picture Smart AI that we were talking about before. So if you want to drill down on something specific, you can. You can type it right back in and ask another question, exactly like you're able to do with the Be My Eyes feature on your phones.
Great. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about today?
Let's see if we can go back to, I have a YouTube video here that I was playing with earlier, and I was hoping to try to give you guys a description of that. Let's see if we can do that and what kind of description we'll get from Picture Smart. So we're on a YouTube page here where I pulled up a NFL preview video, the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants from last year. And let's see if we can get this to play.
The New York Giants limp off to Jerry's house this week, facing the Dallas Cowboys, who got to see what the Titans felt like versus the Rams in that one game.
So there we go. So that's just a little content on the beginning of the video. And as I move through this, if I just fast forward through here a little bit, let's see where we might be able to get a good description here.
A rating of 115.2. Prescott looking, throwing.
All right, so there's a sample of the game. Now, if you want to do this on a YouTube video, the best way is to put the video in full screen, first of all, so you want to remember to do that. So if I turn my virtual PC cursor off.
Use virtual PC cursor on.
Oh, it was off before. Okay, so I hit an F.
To exit full screen, press ES.
We know we're in full screen here now. So now, if I just do my Picture Smart command before, this time what we're going to do is have it look at the screen. So I'm going to go Insert Spacebar. I'm going to hit a P.
Picture Smart.
And an S with my Shift key for the screen.
Picture Smart is in progress.
And now what we should get is a description of what it sees on the screen, which would be our YouTube video paused.
Heading level 2 Claude.
And here we go. Let's see. Let's go to ChatGPT. That should be on here.
ChatGPT heading level.
All right, here we go. And those are headings, by the way, so you can just hit your H key to move between the Anthropic and the ChatGPT. And let's see what kind of example.
The image appears to be a screenshot of a YouTube video playing, likely a highlight clip or analysis of an NFL game between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys from Week 10 of the 2023 season. Here is a detailed description. 1. Video timeline. At the bottom of the image, there is a red progress bar indicating that the video is at 0:32 seconds out of a total 4 minutes. The play pause button, volume control, settings, and full screen options are also visible along with the YouTube logo. 2. Main content. The background shows part of a football field with several players in action. The footage seems to be focused on a play occurring near the end zone. The image is slightly blurry, indicating that the players are in motion. In the middle left of the screenshot is a group of players, possibly focusing on a quarterback attempting a pass. 3. Overlay text. There is an overlay text at the bottom of the image with stats for Dak Prescott during Week 9. It reads, Dak Prescott Week 9 374 IDs, 3 TD, 115.2 rate. The Dallas Cowboys star logo is shown next to Dak Prescott's name and stats.
All right. That's pretty incredible, right?
Oh, that is amazing.
So you have, you know that they're on the football field. You get Dak's stats. It lining up the players, telling you where they are as far as the formation goes. I mean, there's a lot going on in this video, and we've just gotten a full description of exactly what's happening. And you're not going to hear that necessarily on the video itself. I mean, depending on what kind of a video you're watching, this could really come in handy to drill down on the specifics of exactly what's going on at any given time on the video you're watching.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just thinking, as a lot of us do, we watch things with audio description, and even something like with that, it's not going to give you all that detail, but this may be able to even supplement those types of opportunities as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so many examples, that you think of where this would come in very, very handy. And just before maybe we wrap up, Simon, I would tell you that on our FS Cast with Glenn Gordon, hopefully all of you listen to that. I think they're on about episode 247 now or so. It's been out since 2006, and you can actually go back and listen to all the archived episodes as well if you ever want to. Jonathan Mosen started that back in, like I said, 2006, and it's been going on for 18 years. But there's phenomenal information. They put it out about once a month, usually. But episodes 242 and 245 deal with Picture Smart specifically, with this AI in Picture Smart. And Glenn gives some really good examples. He's got an org chart up there where ChatGPT describes that in vivid detail as well. So if there's graphs looking at, all kinds of different things, you can really get a great description, much more so than we've ever been able to do in the past with this Picture Smart AI technology.
Oh, that's great. And I know that Vispero also has webinars as well that you host from time to time.
So if you go to freedomscientific.com/training, that's exactly where you'll find what you're referring to, Simon. Yep, there is. There's upcoming webinars that you can register for if you think it's something interesting that you want to check out. And then there's an entire list of archived webinars that we keep there as well that go all the way back to during COVID even and before. So if you want to learn, for example, how to use JAWS and Fusion better, like with Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or any of the Google suite of applications, Docs, Slides, Sheets, things like that. There was just some big changes made in Gmail. If anybody who used the basic HTML version, of course, that went away earlier this year, and now you have to use standard view. Well, there's a bunch of keystrokes associated with that if you want to use it efficiently, and we did a 2-part webinar to talk about those. So it just all depends on what you're looking for, but odds are really good that you'll find it in those archived list of webinars. Also on that page, we have our entire internet curriculum. It's called Surf's Up. So if you need to learn how to use a web browser with JAWS, everything from forms and lists and tables to all of the navigation keystrokes, you can do that. You can download the Surf's Up curriculum, or you can work on it online right there on the list of web pages that are associated with it. But the reason we have where you can download it as well and take it away is that if you're training somebody who's really never been on the web before, and you kind of want to keep them a little bit more grounded, so to speak, so they're not wandering off onto who knows what web page before you're ready, you can have all these pages saved on something like a thumb drive. And then you can just, install that on their machine. As you're training them, the web pages they'll be using will be the ones associated with the how-to curriculum that we have. A lot of people take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's very handy, because not only can you have them look at the configuration of a website, it sounds like, but it's kind of a training ground, as you said, a way for it to be a low-stress situation for someone that has never had those experiences before and would want to be trained in that environment.
You're absolutely right. And I didn't even think of saying it that way, but that's absolutely right. Somebody who's new to using a computer or new to using the internet may be a little intimidated by all that you can get into. And this is a great way to slowly introduce one thing at a time, have them practice that, and then move on to something else. So it's a closed environment for training only. You can say it that way.
There you go. Well, speaking of the webinars and speaking of the Picture Smart as well, I recently was very pleased to hear about a webinar that was done talking about the possibility of being able to be in a live meeting when somebody was screen sharing something and being able to use some of these features to get access to the content that was on the screen as well. And that seems like a very new and innovative feature that would help a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I mean, anything that can be put up on a computer screen, now we have access to it. If it's a picture of any kind or a screenshot of anything, we can get access to that and have it described. It's phenomenal technology, and it's only going to get better.
Yes, I know. This is something that keeps changing almost every day or up to the minute as we've been speaking and as the technology is evolving. So I definitely would encourage folks to stay up to date with what Vispero has to offer and subscribe to the FScast and go to the website. Can you give the website and contact information if folks wanted to get in touch with you?
Certainly can do that, absolutely. So the website, once again, just the overall company site, if you don't remember Freedom Scientific specifically, that's Vispero.com, Vispero. There's links from that site to all of the companies. But if you want to go to Freedom Scientific directly, with the learn about JAWS, ZoomText Fusion, you can certainly do that and bypass the Vispero site altogether. freedomscientific.com/training is one of the most important pages on that entire site, and that's where all of this material we've been talking about, where you can access that from. As far as my contact information goes, my email address, my name, so again, Jeff Bazer, the email jbazer, JBAZER, at Vispero.com. Let's just give it the 800 phone number. How about that? Yeah. Because then you can get to me that way too. Many of you have heard this phone number, 800-444-4443. My extension is 1122. So once again, 800-444-4443, and you can reach me at extension 1122.
And does Vispero have a social media presence?
Oh, we are all over on social media, absolutely. So we have YouTube channels for all the companies. Of course, we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're on Facebook. Yeah, we're on all the social media platforms.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you, Jeff. It's wonderful to be speaking with you today, and thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to talk to us about all the great work that you and the rest of your team is doing. I know I'm a JAWS user, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, so I really benefit from all the wonderful dedication that you and the folks at Freedom Scientific and Vispero put into just making the product what it is today and continually making it better and better each update, each release for all of our users. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for having us. We appreciate that. You guys do great work at Blind Abilities. My best to Jeff as well, please. I've been on here a few times, and it's always very nice to see you guys.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your convention. I'd like to thank Jeff for taking the time to conduct this interview, and I'd like to thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit the show notes for all the links mentioned in this episode. And if you'd like to contact me directly, send me an email. I can be reached at sbonefant2@gmail.com. That's SBONENFANT2@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening and have a wonderful day.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, and download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And if you want to leave some feedback, give us some suggestions, give us a call at 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you. I want to thank you for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see through
each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the reality of blind abilities.
And the realities of blind abilities.